Welcome to Millennial X, everyone. Sanbonani, good day. Goeie naand, that's what it was in Afrikaans. But we're here today with Sarah, and whenever I speak about people who are making a change in the world, she's one of them. So she's a Yali alumni, founder of Davidson Book Club, and now they've transitioned into Rudo Institute rather, and she's done amazing work, and she's worked with so many great people. So without any further ado, Sarah, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
We're gonna get into it because I like what you've done, and we were talking off air how you're someone I aspire and I look up to, and someone I always try to thrive on a competitive nature. But aside of that, tell us more about what you're doing. Tell us more about Rudo Institute, where it started, what does Rudo mean, and what are you trying to actually achieve from this?
Okay, Sarah Madingwana, born and raised in Davidson. I am the co-founder of Davidson Book Club, which has now transitioned into Rudo Institute. So I don't do this alone. I do it with Kwandile Sukosana, who is my business partner, and we've been on this journey together. So when we started as Davidson Book Club. So we've established about 14 libraries so far. We've trained about 500 people in project management, and we've also planted 120 fruit trees in schools in Davidson. Yeah. So now we've transitioned into Rudo Institute. So we believe in a world where everyone has equal access to affordable technical, vocational, and higher education, right? But the reality is, like, Ekurhuleni is the fourth largest municipality in South Africa, right? With a population of over 3 million people, and only 38% of them have grade 12, but only 12% of them have higher education. So with Rudo Institute, we wanted to bridge that gap, you know. I think for me, starting the institute with Ukwandile, I was really frustrated. I was really sick and tired of having to take 3 taxis just to get to college or university. Yeah. I was tired of being stuck in a metro rail train for 3 hours just to get to town to submit an application. Yeah. But more than anything, I was really just tired of begging, of borrowing, and being vulnerable. So if we can't do it ourselves, if they can't do it for us, let's rather do it ourselves, which is why then we decided to do Rudo Institute. So we then providing our first course, which is business development, which covers entrepreneurial law, which covers new venture creation and financial planning.
Okay, so I want us to break down a few things, and I love what you're doing. I'm a huge fan. So, in South Africa, we always have that issue where we try to get people to fix problems. All right, in society or in townships, yet there's such a huge disconnect. So now we're expecting someone who lives in Sandton to understand the daily problems that someone got Davidson faces, and they want to solve them. So, and it's not just it's a leadership crisis that we're having in South Africa. If you look at government, if you look at business leaders, how can we start changing that mindset externally to the external stakeholders who actually take care of this country?
By sharing our stories, by making education accessible, by sharing information, So with me, it's so important for me to share my story with other people so that they can understand and also know how they can be able to help and aid whatever social ills we have. So growing up in Davidson really taught me very early that the world holds no place for self-pity. Growing up, I had to carry my family at a very young age, living with my father who's currently blind. And my younger brother who has become my prime responsibility. So I took it upon myself to say, these are the challenges that I'm faced with. I want to be the change that I want to see in my community, I want young people to have role models, to have something to aspire to, So I think if I sort of, with Rudo Institutes, expand their horizons within that, then they can even be able to dream bigger dreams than what I've even been able to achieve, So I think it's important for us to share our stories, to not be shy about our stories. I'm not scared to talk about my challenges. I'm not scared to be judged or anything like that. So I think honest conversations really come when we can just be on one same wavelength and then share, connect, and then we'll be able to come up with solutions in that regard.
I also like the fact you said a lot, and I totally agree in terms of your story is just that. It's your story, but it doesn't define who you are, where you're going.
Exactly.
You set the tone for where your life will go and how many doors you'll open for other people, and how you create a chair at the table and give access to other people. So I want to tackle something with you now. So we are now in a stage in South Africa and in the world where fourth industrial revolution. That's the talk. Everyone's talking about AI, technology, you here, you're in Davidson, where there is no access to Wi-Fi. So now we have our leaders talking about the fourth industrial revolution, and many people in reality think of it as a foreign concept because they can't comprehend their realities. What's your take on the whole fourth industrial revolution and in terms of the work you're doing?
Like for me, honestly, like the fourth industrial revolution, like that word like frustrates me so much. Like it's such a buzzword, like everyone just throws it around, you know, but people aren't ready for that. Like how do we talk about AI and like technology when people here don't even have smartphones? Like how do you expect them to even engage on that kind of level? Let's start at the bottom. You know, bring equipment and tools which will be able to then capacitate those people so that they can be able to then know about AI and the fourth industrial revolution, whatever it is, if we're already there. So yeah, that's my take. And I think for me as well, it's important, like with Rudo Institute, to bring in resources in townships, you know, because we all don't have printers, you know, we're all struggling. We have to walk like I don't know how many kilometers for us to just print a simple document, you know. So like it's this fourth industrial revolution thing, like,
do you feel like we're running away from reality with it? Like this is just like it's a stepping stone for us to have an international conversation with international leaders and governments, but actually in actual fact we're escaping the realities, the core issues our country's facing.
No, I completely agree with you. Like we're definitely running away from it. And my question is, fourth industrial revolution for who?
For what?
For people where? Exactly,
why?
You know? So exactly. Like we're running away from it. I think we just need to have honest conversations. And if we are going to implement the fourth industrial revolution or have those conversations, we need to go back down, see how we can help aid that conversation and get it better.
Let's talk more as well about your school. So you provide, obviously, you equip your students with the technical skills, the knowledge. So can anyone just come? Do I have to be from Davidson? Can a 7-year-old who's maybe selling fruit on the street also come? How have you worked around kind of facilitating that?
Okay, so we've only just opened on the 5th of July. That's when we started opening. So right now we're targeting people between 17 years old going up. So these are aspiring entrepreneurs. You don't have to be from Davidson. You can, whether you're from Wattville, whether you're from Guatemala, you can come through to the institute. So these are for aspiring entrepreneurs, people who just want to learn about business, people who just have ideas, they haven't implemented them. So we help them, take them from ideation all the way to finding opportunities, which doors to knock on, you know. So from 18 going upwards.
What challenges have you faced? So for anyone, because I like what you're doing, because essentially, I mean, the township ecosystem contributes so much to our economy. If you look at just transport, the amount of people who use public transport coming from townships to go into these spaces we've actually been isolated from on a daily basis, we contribute a lot to the economy.
For sure.
But at the same time, for someone who's watching this and saying, you know what, I grew up in the township, I want to come up with a Rudo Institute concept and bring it back. What challenges can you tell them or prepare them for that they might actually face if they were to do something like this?
Sure. I think for now our biggest challenge would be security. So we have an excess of about 200 computers, right? But we can't set them up because of security reasons, you know. So security is one of our main challenges. So we still need to put up security fence for the windows as well, for the door and stuff. So I think for us to set up something like this in the township, we also have to be cognizant of the kind of challenges that would be faced with, you know, like security and getting cameras to be able to, you know, watch over the space and stuff like that. So that's one of our challenges, constantly having to think on how can we keep the space safe for us, for the students, you know. So that's access to imali to be able to start all this. It doesn't just come from nowhere. Also dealing with local suppliers, so with bagenzele, like tiling and stuff. You'll find an informal person who doesn't really have the skills, but because you don't have a lot of money to find a person who can do the proper job for you, now you have to settle for less, and then it comes the challenges with, you know. Those are the kind of challenges that we face when we had to start Rudo Institute. So even trying to reach people, we constantly have to take out flyers, printing, inkapela, and stuff like that. So I think more than anything would be money. We need money to do all this. It doesn't just happen from nowhere.
I like you brought up the money thing, because there are plenty of entrepreneurs in South Africa where they'll go, I've got this idea, I've got this business concept, but there's no access to funding. Then we're going to go to the funding institutions, then they're going to say, there's a lot of funding, money is everywhere. So what's happening? Because clearly the entrepreneurs are speaking a different language, our financial institutions are speaking a different language. Where's the issue and how do we kind of fix it? What's your thought?
Sure. So for us to even get to this space, it took us about 4 years when we started. We didn't have a space of our own. But luckily, because we've been applying for accelerators and incubations, we were able to get into those programs like EY Gap. EY Gap was, I was part of EY Gap, was it April? What are we now? Yeah.
It's
in
July.
April. Yeah, I was there in April at Y Gap. So they capacitate social entrepreneurs to sort of make an impact, to be scalable and to be sustainable, and they equip us with those skills. So they were able to afford us a small little grant to be able to run the work forward. But we haven't really received much from, could say, the government or anything like that. There was also a MSA Lead or Nash South Africa Fellowship. I was part of their program as well. I was selected for it. And they also help social entrepreneurs do the same work to just push the work forward. And I was able to get a grant from that. But we just rely on donations, book donations and stuff. So the reason actually we closed down the Davidson Book Club was because being eco-sustainable. It wasn't sustainable. People were just bombarding us with books and like, yo, we have enough books.
Too much,
you know?
too much.
And then there's these clauses which when you donate books, you can't sell those books, you know. So then you can't generate revenue, you know. So those are some of the challenges that we face.
On revenue now. So just for someone who's watching, they're an entrepreneur, they've got an idea. You've mentioned a lot of things. You talked about scale or scalability. For someone who doesn't understand what that is, could you maybe explain it a bit better? And also then, how did you come about what's your revenue model for Rudo Institute as well? Okay,
so our idea is scalable. And I mean it's scalable, I mean we can be able to replicate it in other townships or locations and stuff like that. So our big idea really, we want to build a state-of-the-art institute, a gas. For people, our gas. And then take that and replicate it in. I mean, Ekurhuleni has over 14 townships. So you can imagine if there's a Rudo everywhere, people will be capacitated. You know.
Any donors listening, just by the way, just.
And then in terms of our revenue model, so students pay for the courses, so that's one revenue stream. We also have co-working space. So if they're local entrepreneurs who want to host meetings here, they can book the space, pay for the space, they get coffee, Wi-Fi, you know, stuff like that. So that's also another revenue. We also do CSIs, where corporates can be able to do their CSIs through us. So there's also another revenue model, revenue stream rather. What else do we do? So people want to host.
What else don't you do? That's a question.
So if the people want to host their own events, so we have a lady who wants to do a poetry session, they can book the space here. They'll have a poetry session. Because we have our own equipment for camera, she doesn't have to worry about that. We take photos for her, we give her, she just continues with her work. So those are the ways in which we're able to sort of bring in money. We sell coffee, we'll sell sweets.
I could chat to you the whole day, really. There's so many things I would love to talk about, but just being cognizant of time, I've noticed you've got a lot of books around here, some great authors as well. And I was just thinking about metaphorically, if you see, I mean, here on the walls as well, we've got, you know, old damaged books where we've posted it, and that could signify the chapter of someone else's life and where they're headed. But more importantly for me, it's simplified the chapter in which Rudo Institute is headed. So for anyone watching now, what would be your advice? Whether you're a young person, more so if you're a young person who grew up in the township or you're currently in the township now, what would you advise them? Just take a shot at it, just a general advice in closing.
I think as a young person, you need to believe in yourself. Like, you need to believe in your dreams are valid. Like, no one can tell you can't achieve. Basically, my family supported me, you know, and they believed in me, you know. I've always surrounded myself with people who can add value to me mentally, you know. So I think it's important that young people surround themselves with the right people, you know. Ask questions, you know, you'll get the answers. Just don't be afraid, keep pushing, be persistent, don't stop working. Well, yeah, don't stop working until you achieve whatever it is that you want to achieve. Yeah.
Sarah, thank you so much for the work you do. Thank you so much for tuning into Millennial
Thank you for
X.
having me.
Don't forget to subscribe. If you are wanting to get in contact with Sarah, I'm sure they can find you on Instagram, Twitter.
Yeah, Instagram, Sarah Madingwana, on social media as well, Rudo Institute, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Yeah, Rudo Institute.
You heard it first here on Millennial X, your future president. This is us signing out.